Hello everyone, it's Fluffy, and I'm back with another video. This time, I managed to match with, last time I checked, he was still number 1, and I got paired with him one day. This was Tier 4 Verdunius version 2, or V2, and I like this map. Not really because it's interesting all that much, but because I'm used to it, and I played on Verdunius 1v1 Verdun and this map many times. The opening is rather simple once I'll just show don't tell. Alright, I'm going to make them face the left and change them to Yellow Comet. Let's just leave that one infantry facing the wrong way. I'm facing the right, and let's begin. I picked Jess because once you get used to your vehicles getting the plus 10% on any terrain, you start to get addicted to it. And also, Jess and Jake are the two stalliest CEOs on Tier 4. They're not really stall, they have very powerful aggressive potential, but relative to other CEOs like Adder, if you just outlast him and build a tank army, eventually you will overpower Adder just with your firepower. That's why I consider them stallier. But you don't need to stall, but it definitely is better if you have more vehicles. And AdvanceNoob agrees. If you didn't know, AdvanceNoob and I did have one game prior, back in 2022. Over 2 years ago. It's so old that the archive site I used don't even have our replays anymore. I mean, it doesn't even have that save file to begin with. So I can't show that game, but I can show this game. And I can finally get my revenge. So this is where I disagree. If I was player 2, I would send both of these infantry forward to get these forward captures. You can always get these later. And we're not going to be we don't need the airport that often, like not right away. So in fact, I probably don't even need to capture this airport. I could probably just start sending the infantry forward. The only reason why I went back to capture this is probably for the tank turns or the recon turns that I'm looking forward for, and I need that income for the early tank and recons. But for him, he already has a infantry that can capture these. I would just go forward for the forward captures. So I could send an infantry here to capture, but I instead send both of my infantry forward. Now on his end, probably sending one of them forward would be the better choice. But now I can get this capture chain, and I can also and my infantries are also ahead in this capture chain. This is a chain all the way towards their bases, but ideally I will get up to my HQ and then stop. Maybe I will get this city, but I would really have to fight for it since it's one of the contested. This is one of the contested property lines. So, it's almost as if I'm half a turn ahead on these two infantry and only behind in the middle capture. Not only that, I'm also half a turn ahead for this capture chain. So it's almost as if I'm ahead with 4 infantry and only behind with 1 infantry and this property, but this property doesn't matter, I'm getting it anyway. I built my day 4 recon because I like my vision. Vision is very important. I think I will show one of the games I show in the future. I will show what happens when you attack without vision, and it's very pain. But not this game. Or maybe it will be this game and you won't know, who knows. So I decided to do a little bit of a fancy thing. Let's use the full movement of the infantry, why not? It makes me feel like I'm getting further by using more movement. And this is where I made a little bit of a mistake. Not that big of a deal, but a little bit of a mistake. I walked across the river. That was my mistake. Now, if you look at the movements of this infantry and follow it on, I can move here. Both of these cities are already part of a capture chain, so there's no reason for this infantry to go capture it. So I can continue moving forward. But this property is also part of this chain, so this infantry should not move over. And it would be here without a city to capture for another 2 turns. Whereas if I moved it on the road tile instead of the forest, I would be standing here. Both these cities are already taken. Then I would be standing on this road. This city is already taken by the capture chain, which means this infantry could go for this city as its next choice. But because I'm 1 tile over, if I go down to this plains, then go down to this road, I would be just short of reaching this city. In other words, this little mistake means that I will be down 1k from my usual income in like 4 turns or something. In 4 turns, I will be 1k short of where I am supposed to be, which can be pain. I built a second recon, but it's not affecting me just yet because it's several turns in the future before I will finally suffer from the consequences of my actions. So until then, if I can get an early enough lead, then that 1k won't matter. AdvanceNoob went for a day 5 recon in a tank, which is, well, you definitely want tanks, especially if you know your opponent's going recons. Of course, he doesn't know that I build recons, but considering my past few fall games, if you've been paying attention, I typically start with a day 4, day 5 latest recon, because vision is just that important. Maybe even day 3 recon. Sometimes I go for day 3, but that's much less often. Or maybe I'm just giving misinformation, so when you get paired against me, you won't know what I actually have in fog. Who knows? I could be lying. He goes for a second tank. I built my first tank in the previous turn. Moving my recons forward gets some vision. And a strange thing is, I don't see any of his recons. I suspect the recon would be down here, just like how I have my recon spotting for my comm tower. And I begin my tank chain. I built my tank in the middle base. I don't know why. I probably could have put it on the side base so my infantry can walk across the river and reach the front lines just 1 tile sooner, but I guess maybe I'm thinking I might still consider front shifting to the bottom. Just a maybe. He goes for his comm tower. I'm not. I know we're not fighting yet, so there's no point in that. So, builds a dirt tank, makes sense. He's splitting up his tanks quite evenly, with the stronger tank with the recon. I spot the recon, which is very nice because now I know he has a recon there. But considering I have 2 tanks on the field, and the fact that I also have 2 recons and I only see 1 recon, he probably has 2 tanks on the field somewhere. So going into attack and harass, not a good idea. Especially since this is a day 4 recon and not a day 3 recon. Day 4 recons have to be a lot less harassy and more just collecting vision. So I continue collecting vision. I have total vision over my comm tower area. And this is where I'm very sad that my infantry crossing the river instead of crossing the bridge cannot reach this capture. It's a very sad thing. The worst part is, Considering my opening of sending my vehicles onto my top side, I might not even get the city if he really commits to interrupting it. I mean, it's a little risky to interrupt this city because it's so close to the base and you would be overextending. But if I don't have any vehicles, is it really overextending? Alright, I'm back. There was some noise a while ago. But let's just continue. So, like I said, very sad that I'm missing this property. Well, that I will get this property one turn later. Hopefully I can make up for that by killing something. Oh, he cancels the comm tower. Makes sense. We're not capturing... I mean, we're not fighting yet, so we don't need the comm tower. And that's when I see this infantry over here. Now, I know he has a recon on the bottom front. And, did I see the tank move? I don't think I saw the tank. No, the tank just stayed there. I decided to go for this, mostly because I have 2 tanks up here, so I feel safe. I also begin capturing my comm tower because we're about to start fighting. And double tank turns. We've reached funds to allow double tanks a turn. Just a few more cities and I can get triple tanks a turn. And that's one of Jess's favorite things to have. My recon! My recon! No! I saw this infantry move onto this plains tile, so I made the assumption that nothing moved onto this forest because my recon had a lot of vision in the area, and I'm assuming based on the units I saw. So my recon sees these units. Because I saw this infantry move onto this plains, as long as nothing was in this forest moving up, then there will be nothing in this forest. That's what I'm thinking of right now. And it's a little bit of a deceptive play as well, because he probably doesn't want my tank to first strike his tank because none of his tanks are overlapping it. So he moves it onto the plains to make me guess whether or not something's in this forest, which is a very, very tricky play. And who knows, there might have been something in this forest. I attacked from the silo to get vision, and then pew strikes the tank. I'm thinking, I see your tank and recon here. The chances you'll have a second tank up here, so I'll take the risk. I have all my tanks over there. And I moved my recon here just in case. My recon is covered by my double tank reinforcements, so that's fine. And seeing as we just had a first tank strike over here, instead of splitting the tank into these 2 forests, I sent them both to the top forests, where they can reach this front line just a little bit faster. Faster in a sense that this tank moving to the bottom forest does not have to walk through a second forest. I also built my first anti-air and copter. Just copters, they're a little bit weaker, but because of the firepower bonus from the tank, copter plus tank with the comm tower will pretty much still kill a tank. So what's of it if it's a little weaker? The point of the copter is to take less damage, not to deal damage. He kills my recon in the center. Oops, I accidentally clicked next turn. Pulls the tank back. And I see no further attacks over here. So now I'm happy. Well, I'm not exactly happy since I lost 2 recons and only got a tank strike. But I do get this tank. So actually I am feeling not too sad here. And so I considered pulling my infantry back, but at the same time I also saw, from what I saw, it looked like he was front shifting to the right. My recon in the center saw the vehicles move up. What I didn't know was that the vehicles moved right back down. I moved my tank back to heal, started capturing the lab because this is a live league with a 30-day limit. When you hit the day limit, whoever has more properties wins, and the lab makes this an odd-numbered property map. Meaning, if we have the same number of cities, comm towers, then the lab will decide who wins. Either way, it's not like this infantry has anything better to do, so I might as well begin its capture. This is when I saw the tank in Recon and thought, alright, let's just run away here, no point in continuing to fight. I do kill one infantry just because I want to kill. But now that I know some vehicles are up here, I'm even more confident I'm stronger at the top. So I go with double recons because I need the vision. I just lost both my recons. And might as well get an artillery. I mean, I'm getting double recons, so there will be no tank reinforcements for some time, regardless. So I may as well just get an artillery with the recons. I lose all my infantry here, which is to be expected. He first strikes my tank on the road, which I'm happy with because I'm not losing this tank. I'm not gonna lose the tank. So I pull it back to heal. My 8 HP tank on the city heals up. It is still a little bit chipped, since 8 HP does not necessarily mean 80% of your HP. It just means anywhere between 71 and 80%. Which means this could be at 9 point something HP instead of 10. So I decide, I don't think I used this tank to attack. I think I just kept it on the city. Oh, I did use it to attack, but it got a kill, so it's fine. So I killed 2 tanks in this area without losing any. One of them is injured, but I can heal it back up. So I'm pretty confident with my tank superiority, so I go forward and begin capturing this. I continue fighting with my infantry up here, because I am confident my infantry... I do have more stuff here in general. And my recon on the left side does cover my property, so I feel a little fine. Medium tank. I do like my medium tanks. I'll think about doing a little something. But I build my medium tank. He starts capturing stuff over here thinking I have nothing, which is well, maybe not nothing, but almost nothing is a fair assumption considering I just threw away 3 infantry. He uses his normal power. I personally I prefer Jess supers over her normal power, but I guess I don't really agree with it, mostly because my infantry prevents a lot of tank strikes. There's a tank strike over here, and I guess this attack to kill my infantry also mattered, but it really only killed 1 tank and I lost another tank over here. Everything else are just infantry hits, which don't really matter too much in a tank game with Jess. So I did the reasonable thing of simply attacking where I know I can attack. Interrupt. Move backwards to kill this tank, because why not? I have my copter here. See, even with the defense from the Jess power, copter tank still kills a tank on the road. And my copter only took 1 HP of damage, which is the strongest part of the copter. The copter isn't to do damage, it's to not take damage. And that's why you need anti-air, because it's the only thing that can effectively damage it without luck. And I otherwise do a retreat. I have my super, but I'm not going to dive in there, especially not when my previous turn was recon reinforcements. I will try to stall for my medium tank to arrive before using it. And I might even do a front ship down there because I killed the tank and I know he has a strong force up here. But then this happens. He kills my infantry that's on the run. And I kinda want to keep my comm tower because I know it's very hard to flip comm towers. It's on the contested line. Well, it's actually closer to him than me. So I decide front shifting back to the top right is probably a better decision. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to kill the infantry that's running away. Get some vision. I don't really see much. So I decide, let's move back to the top right. He sees my artillery, but that's fine. I move my tank forward in range of my medium tank. My artillery does not cover it, but my medium tank does. Did he see my anti-air? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he saw my anti-air, that which is sad. But he also knows he does not have any anti-air. Well, he has one, but it's all the way at his base. So my copter would start getting a lot of hits for several turns if he starts fighting me right now. He continues retreating over here, makes sense. He starts capturing this city. And artillery does not cover it, which is very interesting. Very interesting. I saw that Recon move out of this forest, so I know he knows that I have an artillery. Recon strikes. Move my medium tank outside of range of everything. And then just move in. I'm really concerned that he might wall break this tank because just with comm tower guarantees 2-hit KO onto properties. But I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping that he doesn't attack into me, really, because that would overcharge me quite a bit, especially since this tank can support the fight. Infantry moves forward, sees my medium tank, so he immediately built a Neo tank response. Now, I don't like Neo tanks all that much because of the unit called a bomber, but I guess because this is a chess mirror, bombers aren't exactly too strong. But I still believe in medium tanks. After all, I am still Jess. My medium tanks are nothing to... my medium tanks aren't nothing. I see artillery over here, so I know it's not in the forest, so I safely move my medium tank in. And I'm pretty sure my recon saw an infantry walk into the forest with perfect 3 movements, so it has to be an infantry in the forest regardless. I start capturing this to encourage a fight, because I do have my super and he doesn't. I built a pretty nice wall over here. Second anti-air just in case. You never know when you need it. So yeah, pretty nice wall. Trying not to let him get 2-hit KOs over here. The weakest part of the wall is our corners, which is this forest over here, which means it's not that weak since you need to commit a unit onto this side just to clear the forest. And also the medium tank, which is a medium tank, and it's not going to get broken through. My recon might get one-shot by a Jess, since it is a little chipped from an infantry. But then the next thing would be artillery, and you can't break through that because it's in the forest. So I feel perfectly safe with my formation over here. He starts capturing my lab. He knows about the 30-day limit. Labs do count for the 30-day limit victory. Artillery moves back. I already make the assumption it's in this forest. And so I fire at this infantry, because why not? Recon gets some vision. And I decide to use my overdrive, because my Recon sees a bunch of tanks in a line, and the weakest part of a wall is the corners, and this is a corner that I can break through. I shoot at this tank, get some more vision. Recon fires at the infantry, kills it, and gets some more vision. I can only kill it with the Jet Super. And then I start breaking the wall. This is a guaranteed kill. Tank and infantry kills Recon on the property during Jet Super. Get some vision over here. Decide to knock out the Recon because get rid of vision. Vision is just that strong. Copter strikes. Takes only chip damage back, which is very nice. Copter putting in what it's made for. Tank one-shots infantry. Then I start plowing through the wall. I strike from this direction first because I also want my wall to stay. I know when artillery's in the forest, at least that's the most obvious choice. So I decide to use my medium tank to break through this line. This tank already gets vision of the artillery, so I get to shoot it. So now I'm feeling pretty happy. I gave him Jet Super, but I also overcharged him quite a bit, so that's fine. Recon just one-shots another infantry because why not? Unfortunately, I can't interrupt this lab, but if the lab is not interrupted, it means that he won't be using the lab against me, like, won't be using the terrain defense if he captures. So I'm also fine with that. Third, medium tanks. I'm a believer of medium tanks. He uses the counter Jet Super, which makes sense. Artillery goes back. Makes sense, you're not getting anything with it. And clears this tile. Neo-tanks one-shot my medium tank. Just Neo-tanks are really something. And doesn't trust the kill chance over here, so pulls back. Uses a tank to kill it. And here's where I get concerned, because now again, the weakest part of the wall are the corners, and this is the corner. And he broke through that corner. Now this tank can be killed, and then this tank can be killed, and it becomes a whole big mess. But seeing that he no longer has any more tanks, instead of continuing the wall break, he just first strikes several tanks, so that I have a heart. Well, so these two tanks are pretty much out of the fight. You don't need to actually kill the tank if they are disabled to this point. And Copter moves in because why not? He kills my infantry here, captures the lab. Okay, I'm fine with that. But it is important to note one more thing. I have 3 Recons alive. He has no Recons. So if I just pull back and I kill these units over here, which is closer to my bases, I should be fine. So I do I'm not retreating, I'm doing an advancement to the rear. Yes, that's what it is. I'm attacking. I am advancing to the rear with my units. I probably could have moved this infantry to scout the forest first, and then attack from the plains tile here. Because maybe I could have sent a tank to attack from this row tile, and then I have 2 tiles to attack this tank. So now I can't actually kill this tank because this row tile is already taken, but that's fine. I continue sending my copter forward because, let my copter do its job. It hit 3 tanks already. So it paid for itself. And it also forces anti-air, which is not the best in a tank-on-tank fight. I continue killing infantry that I can kill. I'm thinking I have so many tanks that can get hit that my Recons are pretty much getting free hits, because you rather kill tanks than my Recons, right? So I'm just using my Recon to do whatever it wants, and pulling back with everything else. 4 Recons. I had 4 Recons, not 3. How do I keep miscounting it? Build another copter, because honestly this copter has been working so well, I might as well get a second copter. And another Recon. He has no Recons. He kills my Recon over here, interrupts his capture. Just infantry or just something else. Fires upon my Recons, but I have so many Recons that it doesn't even matter, I lose half of them. In fact, it's not even half my Recons anymore because I built another one. Kills my copter, makes sense. Kills my tank. And this is why you need Recons. His Neo-tank moves forward to strike one of my tanks. Admittedly, I probably would have went for the 8 HP tank, simply because it's more HP. But either way, this is the danger of not having Recons. And he doesn't send Neo-tank up for my anti-air. I guess he's probably preferring it in the center. But also, he doesn't reveal the Neo-tank to me. He moves it in such a way that it stays out of my Recon range. So, I don't know he has a second Neo-tank, but it doesn't matter to me because I have another medium tank. Kerplunk hits his Neo-tank. My medium tank does not guarantee a kill on the Neo-tank, not without my super, and I'm almost near another super, so I take a guaranteed hit, which doesn't meet the super, then pop the super. Infantry takes the shot, medium tank comes in, boom, kills his Neo-tank. I now traded one of my medium tanks for his Neo-tanks, and I think my trade is better, because my medium tanks are cheaper while doing the same task. I start capturing this property, I continue capturing this property, cleared this infantry, just injuring infantry. My anti-air gets away, I'm able to heal it up from this property. I take the strike, because just super almost one-hit KOs a tank. Almost one-hit KOs a tank. I get that. Might as well get this kill. Also, infantry acting as a wall for my vehicles. I get that. Recon, go! Almost one hit, so I might as well take that. Sit on the forest to be super annoying. Anti-air, let's just hide it. And my medium tank also has enough movement to cover my medium tank without the vision. Also, if something does strike my medium tank, I have an anti-air for air defense and an artillery for ground defense. So I think I'm perfectly good over here. Tank gets some vision in this area. Neo-tank strikes my tank. It would have died if it's not for my just super defense. Infantry fails to interrupt this. If you look at the top left corner, the city is at 3 HP and my infantry is at 3 HP, which means I get the city. I'm very happy for this. I'm rather surprised he didn't go for this capture to interrupt, but maybe he thinks it's easier to hold this city than this city, and it was a little bit of a roll. Anti-air strikes my infantry without the just super. I mean, just anti-air is really good at one-shotting infantry, I would know, I've used them many times, but without the super, it's kinda... Oh, without the super, this is very sad. He finally gets the charge for the overdrive. Tank goes all the way here to strike my tank. Leaves me at 1 HP. Now it would be 2 HP, but I did get chipped by the 1 HP by this 1 HP tank that ran off. And he's now killing the stuff he can kill off. He kills my last frontline recon. Good thing I preemptively built a second. Well, I don't even know what recon number this is. I'm pretty sure this is recon number 6? No, this is recon number 7. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this is my 7th recon of the match. I guess I can also check, but I'm not going to. Kills off my tank in the forest. So now I don't have any recons on the front line, and this recon isn't really going to be providing vision this turn. So I should be a little cautious. 1 HP tank, I decide to take the roll. He has a super, I don't, but I'm pretty sure I did enough damage during my super to knock it down low enough. I just injured the infantry, so he has a harder time recapturing the properties. Tank strikes, this is a safe hit, might as well go for it. And anti-air, yeah, let's pull it back. And because I have 2 medium tank hits on his Neo tank, I decide to go for it. Just medium tanks or something else. I get 2 hits on the medium tank. I don't have vision of this artillery because he killed all my recons. And this is the danger of fighting without recons. I'm pretty sure it's still worth it because I'm trading a medium tank for a Neo tank. So I'm getting... it's favoring me because my units are cheaper, while still achieving the same goal. My medium tank can still one-shot tanks because I'm Jess. And I don't see any recons from his end, so I move my artillery here to cover my medium tank, under the assumption he has no vision of my artillery. And this is why you need recons, because if you don't have recons, you can fall victim to these very evil vision games. So I just kill off this infantry because why not? My infantry is covered by my artillery, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And I send a copter down here, because I see an anti-air here. Send copter where anti-airs aren't. I lose my medium tank to an artillery strike, and I know it's an artillery strike because there's no way the anti-air did it. He continues killing off my infantry here. And ooh, a T-copter. It is day 20, so the cap, you do have to be concerned about the property counts for the day limit. Built a medium tank. I'm telling you, medium tanks are the way to go. Medium tank is better. I shall bring more people onto the side of medium tank. So anyway, he did not see this artillery at all. So now I get to laugh. Well, copter strike. Yay. Infantry. Now I have vision for this infantry kill. Tank moves back. My 1 HP infantry gets vision for my artillery to fire on the anti-air. And I begin front shifting to this side because I think with my vehicles here, he might not front shift. And I'm not even going to front shift all my vehicles, only the light vehicles like my tanks and anti-air. My medium tank and artillery are a little bit slower, 1 tile slower per turn, but that's enough for me to not want to front shift with them. And by not front shifting everything and keeping my medium tank here, I know he will continue to invest up here, at least I'm hoping he does, while my light tanks will just slam this bottom area. That's the plan. He interrupts this, gets vision on my artillery, which is it's stupid where I hide it. My artillery gets hit, but I have another artillery. My artillery lives. Now it gets the last laugh. He starts capturing this and walls it off so I can't interrupt it. But it doesn't matter because I still have these two properties, so I'm ahead in properties even if he captured this and I fail to capture this. In that situation, I will still be ahead. And I'm back again. Let's just continue. Pretend nothing happened. Tank, get this strike. Good thing the copter weakened it earlier. So now I pretty much took no damage. It was a free hit. I could interrupt this, but I think I'd rather kill the tanks, because if I kill all the units, then I get the cities anyway. My artillery fires. Anti-air putting in work. Tank kills the anti-air and does the double action of spotting for this artillery. So it's one of the reasons why I had to wall break this, so I can get vision and get this anti-air. Medium tank gets rid of the artillery. I don't have vision because my recon is not nearby to provide vision. So for all I know, he could have another neo tank ready to pop my medium tank while it's not covered by a full HP artillery. This is a problem with not having recons. But at the same time, I also know what the KD of our game is. I know I have caused more damage than I have taken. So I'm taking the risk because I feel safe enough with my positive KD that this is a safe move. And also, might as well threaten to capture this property as well. Recon moves down, gets some vision. It might not get much more vision now, but it will continue providing vision in case these two units are lost. I move my tank in range. He has vision of this with his recon, but I'm fine with that because I trust that I have more units in general. Like, at this point, I just trust that I am so far ahead that this is perfectly safe. And he resigns. This is a fair resign. He knows he's down a lot of units, and he's about to lose properties across the entire front. So that was this game. And this is why recons are very important in Fog, because without recons, you don't know what they have. For example, I felt safe killing that tank just because I know he has a tank down here. If anything, the fact that I had vision of this tank probably won me this area because I know he doesn't have all his units up there. And then when he uses just super, I just pulled back because I waited for my reinforcements. And if he had a little bit more vision, probably attacking into me in this situation might even be good for him, just so that I waste my super and he can build up charge for his super. Then he can pull back and hold his super against me. I feel like holding my super here also helped in the sense that, well, he can't exactly go in without any charge while I have a full bar. But yeah, recons. lots and lots of recons. This was in fact recon number 7. So that was this game, and don't know what I'll show next time, but goodbye!